Man, week on week on week, you just keep getting all of these interviews with absolute wizards inside of CPA, and today is no different. We're chatting with Dennis, who's actually pulling in 20,000, or actually that was recorded, I think well, maybe by the time that's going out, maybe like 2 months, 2.5 months before the date of release. I know now he's very quickly on his way to 30K a month. But at the time of recording it, he was doing 20K a month with his agency. I know because we were speaking last night on one of the CPA calls. He's actually brought on his second media buyer. So it's him and two media buyers, as I said, bring in now at the time of recording this or the time of it going live, closer around 30,000 a month. But as I said, when we actually had this chat, it was 20,000 a month. So yeah, you guys are in for a treat. As always, I know I always say that, but hopefully I deliver on that. And yeah, as you guys know, pin comment down below. First of all, you can find the Gadzhi giveaway winner, and then you can also find a link to book in a call with Max. And then once you book in that call with Max to find out more about CPA, you'll actually see a full 25-minute demo so you can see everything that is included in the program. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. We have a full money back guarantee. Yeah, basically the only ones in the industry who have such a ridiculous happiness based guarantee. But on that note, obviously you need to chat with Max. He needs to accept you into the program. And then, yeah, from at that point, we can basically welcome you into the CPA family. So with no further ado, let's get straight into it. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another student interview. We are joined today with Dennis, all the way from Holland, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Whereabouts?
In Rotterdam.
Rotterdam, nice. I see that Ogilvy on advertising just over your right shoulder.
Definitely. So some good inspiration right there.
Awesome. Yeah, so he's pulling in around 20,000 a month right now from his agency, working with e-commerce clients, currently working with 9 to 10 clients. And he's currently sitting in his beautiful new home office. I'm correct in saying that, right?
I am. Yeah, definitely. Moved in like 2 months ago, and definitely it's an upgrade from my last place.
Well, I think that might be a good place to start, because obviously I remember, when you came into copy paste agency, that was one of the first things that I told you. I think at that stage, when you came in, you were doing, correct me if I'm wrong, I think from what I can remember, around like 7,000 a month.
Somewhere close north of 5K. So actually
5K.
A little bit lower. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I remember when you came into CPA, you were doing around there, and we were budgeting. It's funny because I remember back then it came up in conversation, should I move into my own, a new place, my own place, this, that. And I vividly remember budgeting at 5 to like 7K for a place. And then, here you are now at the agency pulling in 20K a month, and we kind of had to rebudget your living expenses. But
it was kind of scary back then, but I definitely never regret anything, because it's been a blessing, and I think it will even allow me to scale even further. Just the overall expanding of your mindset you have when you're in just like a beautiful place, like yourself as well. You're in a beautiful place out there in South Africa, and you have a beautiful place back in London, and that's not for any reason, of course. It really helps you.
For sure. Just to touch on that a little bit more, because I know that, it's funny. There's a lot of people in CPA who are even doing like 20, 30K a month, and they're still like living at home, or like living with like 3 other people, or like this or that. Do you think you can link do you think there's a direct correlation between like the point at which you moved in to the efforts in your agency, how much your agency was pulling in, how much work you're able to get done, how much focus and clarity?
Yeah, I'm still living on my own before for like 2 years or something, but definitely moving into this place just expanded just everything for me. Moved in like December, and in January I signed like 3 clients in like a week time. So that's definitely, these little things add up, just you sticking to your habits, you just crunching on your outreach, you just getting kick-ass client results, and these perpetuate like you say yourself, when it rains, it pours, in sometimes good ways and bad ways. And definitely, knock on wood, I haven't seen any bad things in terms of like the when it rains, it pours principle, but definitely some good ones for sure. Also, like a year ago, signed like a couple clients in like 2 weeks time, and it's definitely has made an impact of my ability to grow, and I think it will even make any like more impact for sure, because when you just wake up in like a luxurious place, it really helps you just come in that right mindset, and just having everything neatly stored out. You have like multiple spots to work in. That really just helps you get through your work with like joy. And you have to do it for like these little things, like you always say as well, that these little things that you just can add like a like 10% of like work joy extra. That just really helps, because you have to fall in love with like the boring day-to-day stuff, like doing outreach, follow-ups, getting client results that may get a little bit boring, like when you work like 6 days a week. But you have to then find these small little things that bring like joy in your everyday workday, you know?
For sure. So, you know, you coming into, you know, you going from agency incubator, coming into CPA at 5K a month, you know, or at least the agency's revenue at 5K a month. And, you know, you basically quadrupling that in the past, what's it been, 6 months, 9 months?
I joined CPA in October, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So around 6, but even a little less, I think 5 months.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was a good level of growth. But one big thing that came with that is obviously hiring your first employee and basically building out your team. What was that experience like?
Yeah, definitely great. Because previously I was working with like a couple freelancers that, of course, are great and can really help you maintain a good profit margin. But when you get like a certain extent, it's definitely worth it to hire like a full-time employee, especially when you're hitting like 5, maybe 6, 7 clients. Then definitely you'll get to the point where financially, but also like results wise, it makes a lot more sense for you to hire like a full-time employee. And it's really been a blessing, because you have someone like 40, 50, 60 hours working for your agency that can really help you bring better results, and of course bottom line as well. That also, so yeah, it's been really good from my perspective. And in April, I'm actually hiring my second full-time media buyer. So expanding the team is definitely a blessing, and something to that definitely I didn't expect it before, because previously of course it's a lucrative business model, you know it for sure. So but that was like one of my reasons to get into it, just make like a lot of money for sure. I'm not lying about that, but definitely when you start to expand your team, it's definitely something that brings a lot of joy as well, because you really know the impact that you have on their lives, because you're bringing them jobs and you bring them like some sense of like security. And that's definitely something good to have, and also build like that whole team culture, hopping on daily team calls, comparing Aura stats, and that's definitely amazing.
For sure. So how did you go about finding this person, and how did kind of, what was that hiring process, and how do you know they were the right one? And, or did you know they were the right one first? Did you give them a couple clients to work with on a contractor basis? Kind of how they end up coming on full time?
Yeah, so I might go back a couple steps, because then it was first like the transition between like my freelancers and my full-time media buyer. So firstly, I've had a couple of freelancers, so all the work shifted over to like this full-time employee. I first hired him on like a temporary basis, so on like a couple of clients, paying him per client, and then he shifted over full-time, because things just worked in all of our favor. That's in terms of that. I really had to hire him, because the other freelancers were like also building their thing at just some things on their own, and from there just things just fell in a certain place, and just me deciding to hire him full time. And sorry, could you repeat your question again? Sorry.
So
I lost my train of thought.
how'd you find this person?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was actually one of your people on the list from the CPA applicants for the media buyer role. So
Yeah.
I found
So
him that way. Yeah.
just a real quick, give everyone context for those that don't know. Basically, whenever we're hiring, you know, media buyers for the agencies, or sales guys, appointment setters, this, that, anyone, you know, obviously we have a huge net of people who apply. Basically anyone that, you know, we don't end up hiring, because we're actually about to bring on our next media buyer as well, like very soon. Actually, probably should have done it already. But yeah, so once again, we did that mid last year, and then we basically put out a list of, hey, out of 150 applicants, here's 20 that we didn't hire, but that are extremely, extremely good. And we just gave those direct to CPA students, so that way they don't have to pay a lot of recruitment agencies are taking, 20% of the first year's salary. So, in some cases that's anywhere from $5,000 all the way up to, 20 grand that basically CPA students don't have to pay. So same thing's going to happen next month when we do our next round of hiring. So yeah, really cool that you guys linked up and he ended up becoming full-time for you.
Yeah, definitely. And also with my next media buyer that I hired, I just hired her from, might be good to know for everybody as well. I hired her from LinkedIn. I just upload like a job posting, because when searching on like Upwork, I tend to find like people that are, just also looking to build something on their own and just like to work on a freelance basis. And it's really hard because you find like a lot of, not wannabe entrepreneurs, but just people that want to have their own freedom. And it's really hard to find somebody full-time. So I decided to put like 300 euros or something into some LinkedIn post, and it really helped me find some good talent. So that's definitely a good hack to find some good people.
Great. So you would say that putting spend behind it is worth it?
Yeah, because I've tried like all avenues, of course, Upwork, some certain job groups, and it's really hard. Also, Reddit forums, just replying to like people in PM, but that's really difficult. But definitely LinkedIn has helped me a lot, for sure.
For sure. So it's quite interesting to compare your new hire compared to obviously the one we kind of pre-vetted for everyone, and I guess that was a little easier. So maybe in that case, it'd be more insightful to speak about this new hire. From the 300 you spent on, LinkedIn promotions for your job listing, how many applications did you take? Did you get? How many interviews did you take? And then how did you end up deciding on the new hire?
Got like around 20 to 30 applicants. I did reject like 75% of it, because I just also had some screening questions in like Calendly. So just some pre-vetting questions. And from that, it had like around, that's percent number maybe off, but I had like 8 interviews or something. So definitely so eight interviews or something. And just, it was really difficult to really find somebody that I could relate to. And finally found somebody that had previous experience, like also like a lot of spent on like YouTube and Google, which is something we also like to add for current clients, which is something important. And also, of course, Facebook and Instagram ads.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Good stuff. So when this new person comes on in April, what's your workflow going to be like? And I guess what's your workflow at the moment? Obviously your hire is remote. Pretty much everyone's is these days. But how do you guys do it? Do you guys have like a meeting first thing in the morning? Do you guys just communicate throughout the day? Like what's the structure look like?
Yeah, current workflow, we just have our meeting at 9 a.m., just a daily team call, just go over all the client campaigns, what's happening. I like to be very hands-on myself as well, because I think I got a good eye for things that I can really just have, because of course, went through my fair share of Facebook ads training as well. So I know my thing as well. So going over the ad accounts and just during the day, also just communicating what we need to implement. I like to stay very hands-on in terms of like copywriting as well, because I really like copywriting and just writing some bangers there. And also media buying myself when my ad guy has some days off. I like to take over as well, because I know I can, of course, and I have to then. Also, in terms of like day-to-day communication, we just have very like a lot of common ground in terms of like interest. Also, this really helps as well to build like a relationship with your team member. So that also really helps for you to like openly communicate a little bit better. And that really just, in terms of like laying that back into the company culture that you're trying to have, that just really helps establish that and to really make sure your communication is smooth. Because if you're working with somebody that you don't necessarily have like a lot of common ground between, it's really, of course, it makes it harder for you to work together, because you have to work together like 5-6 times a week, 5-6 days a week, which is definitely a lot. And you have to spend a lot of time with this person. So that's definitely important to have a good relationship with them. And from there, just, like I said, that's like the daily workflow right now. And then adding the second person, there's of course still have our daily calls, making sure, but when she onboards, I'm thinking of just handing like a couple accounts to her and just her sitting with my current media buyer just on like Zoom for like a day, and just her watching my current media buyer. And from there, just slowly progressing her into the ad accounts. And then she also doing certain things while my media buyer is watching her and make sure everything is correct. And from there, just rolling and just making sure she just gets very, very comfortable on the way we do things within the agency, and get comfortable also with our SOPs. Right now I'm working out all the SOPs within the agency, how we go about scaling, how we go about naming all of the ads, and all those things are very important, of course.
For sure. So one thing you mentioned earlier was that early Jan, you signed 3 new clients. What's working for you right now in terms of outreach?
Actually, in the beginning, I was doing like email outreach, like couple things. They didn't really work, or I got some clients, but didn't necessarily add like a lot of consistency in my outreach. So like since like half a year or something, I'm only doing like looms. So just sending out cold looms and having like a whole follow-up sequence as well, like maybe sometimes between 6 to 8 minute looms, and just on cold outreach straight away. I previously also tried like doing like a request. So I will ask them if they would like an audit, but that didn't really work for me. And also I've hired like an appointment setter. That's also getting me good leads as well.
Awesome. So in terms of the appointment setter, how many meetings a month are they bringing you?
He's kind of not at full capacity, so he's still in school, which makes it really difficult. So I'm paying him like per loom sent, so that makes it like equally beneficial for like both parties. He got me like 2 clients in like the last month, so that's pretty good. But generally per month, like 2 to 3 meetings or something like that. So that's definitely helping. And I'm looking to expand the team on that level even further because I know it's working. I know I got like a proven process, because that's definitely important for you to first like figure out a proven process that you can do for yourself first. After that, you will hire like one appointment setter, train him all the way up, and then add like different appointment setters to build out like a whole system of appointment setters, so you can really just book like meetings on autopilot.
That's awesome. Perfect. So what does your normal day-to-day look like as an agency owner?
I wake up, I'm quite consistent. I'm quite the man of the habits. So I wake up at like 6:30, wake up, just refresh, go to the gym, or normally I would go to the gym, but now I do like some home workouts, go running. Then I do a cold shower, meditate, and then get to work at around 9, have a team call, and just in the morning, usually doing some income producing activities, of course, the most important things of the day, like for 3 to 4 hours. Have like an hour break in the afternoon. We'll focus on like client ad copy or selecting client creative, stuff like that, to support my media buyer and things like that, and doing some lower surface level work, and work till around 6, 7, sometimes 8, and then read a bit, have my sleepy time tea, and go to bed.
So what do you normally do for time off?
So normally I work between like Monday through Saturday. So like normally 6 times a week, but not every week. So 5 to 6 times a week. And Sunday I will just go for like a run, meet with friends. Right now it's a little bit difficult because you can't really do anything right now. But normally just meeting with friends, just hanging around, and
For sure. And what's the thing you dislike most about having an agency?
Good one. It's it might be the of course you do have like social aspect with like your clients and stuff, but it can definitely be lonely sometimes because you're working from home. Because I in like June was my last day at my full-time job. Then I quit it, of course. I had like a lot of social interaction between like your colleagues. And that's something that might be missing a bit. But of course, you have your team members where you can help on your calls. You have your check-in calls with like clients. But that might be, yeah, it's of course, it might get difficult. But yeah, it's something that I not necessarily like dislike, but it's like something that is a little bit like, yeah, how do you say it? Like difficult sometimes.
For sure. I'm assuming that, at least a large, definitely some part of that changed when you brought on a media buyer full time. And you were able to have those morning team calls and, as I said, just kind of have someone by your side along this journey.
Yeah, it's definitely fun because you can really just have a conversation and just not only talk about work. Of course, you just talk about what's going on in their lives and how their workout was and stuff like that. And it's definitely fun to have like a personal conversation in the morning as well, for sure.
For sure. So, where are you trying to get to by the end of the year with your agency, and how do you plan on accomplishing that?
It may sound big because I'm currently only at like 20K only. It's for some people, of course, that may sound like totally mind-boggling, of course, but I want to get to 100K. I know it's stretching it, but also last year when I set my goals, they seemed that way as well. And I achieved them in like 6 or 7 months. So definitely something for me I put it on my wall as well, just on my whiteboard. Just every day I'm looking at those goals, I'm going to hit them and doing the necessary monthly, weekly, daily steps to get there, and really planning out that way on like a monthly, yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily process. That really helps me. And I think, it's going to be difficult, but definitely because we're at full capacity right now with only one media buyer, handling all those clients. Me being around my second media buyer really is, of course, it might be a risk, of course, will bring down my bottom line, but it will allow us to scale even further. And me knowing that the process of my appointment setters is working, I'm pretty sure we were able to get there. And me, of course, putting my foot on the gas as well in terms of like outreach will definitely help us to just pump out volume, getting the case study up, which I'm working on right now, making sure that's set up. Also, I'm looking to start the YouTube channel for the agency to bring in some organic side of things to boost the SEO stuff, so people can search into YouTube on certain topics, and I would pop up things like that. And organic stuff as well. I've hired like a branding agency for my socials to make everything look like slick and to the point. So that's definitely something to just to further establish like my brand authority and making sure everything's like on point. Because previously in the beginning, that doesn't really or shouldn't really be like your focus point at the beginning, because in the beginning you should definitely like go all in on like outreach. But definitely when you're more established and get to the next level, you should really know that your website, your Instagram and Facebook, all your socials, and perhaps even starting like a YouTube channel, like a case study, everything should be slick, because you're not trying to work with everybody's mom, of course. You're trying to work with established businesses.
For sure. Awesome. Well, yeah, dude, that's pretty much all my questions. I appreciate you jumping on and sharing some of your wisdom.
Amazing. Thanks, man.